All right. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, welcome to the Healthy Mind Collective, presenting protecting your mental health as a realtor. So, as you all know, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, taking care of your mental health is a huge thing, especially when your entire success, right, is based on commission. Um,
Right.
the real estate industry is awesome. It offers you the freedom to build the career you want while being your own boss. However, the long hours, dealing with emotional, tense clients, being subject to external events that are out of your control and determine your ability to close a transaction. Ultimately, your business depends on the ability to manage your stress and prioritize your mental health. So we are here to talk about today how you all prioritize your mental health in while maintaining a successful business, career, life, all of that.
Cool.
So we'll just get started by doing a quick introduction. If you guys want to introduce yourself and give a little quick blurb about yourself.
Sure. I'm happy to go first.
Go ahead, Kimber.
So my name is Kimberly Mooney. I serve the greater Albuquerque Metro here in New Mexico. I am vice chair of EXP's Young Professional Network. I am a member of the NAAC this year. And I also am a New Mexico state leader for the Young Professionals. So in addition to being realtor, I've got a lot of rotating duties. I'm also a mom. I have 2 young toddlers. Well, I guess they're not technically toddlers anymore. And then I'm also married.
Awesome. So yes, you have a lot of stressors in your life right now. So it is super important to, make sure that you take time for yourself.
Oh yeah. It's definitely, it can be chaotic.
Yeah. Coralie, what about you?
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here. I am a commercial broker statewide in New Mexico. The bulk of my work is in Albuquerque, which is really the biggest city in the state. But I've done work throughout the state. I also had a situation over the last 4 years where we had, both me and my friend group, we had some losses. And I ended up writing a journal called Embracing Life because my best friend lost both her father and her boyfriend in 2020. Wow. And so, so now I'm doing double duty as a realtor and an author.
That's awesome. We're so happy to have you here and get your perspective on everything. And Reggie, go ahead, sir. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you for having me out today. Of course, my name is Reggie Moore. I am the National Director of Resources at EXP Millnet with an awesome leadership team over there with Deanna, Mike, Becky, Sierra, Rick, David. Awesome team out there. Also, I am a commercial advisor as well. I'm in the commercial space just like Corley. And along with that, there I serve the Hampton Roads area. In midst of that, my other hat that I wear is I help with this organization called Veterans Network Champions Club. And we have tons of vets or thousands of vets that reach out to us, and we go over a lot of education and resources for brothers and sisters as well. And been doing real estate ever since 2016, and it's been a blast. But along with that, I've had my losses in the past and things that didn't go fair sometimes in life, but you do the best that you can do and move forward.
That's awesome. And I'm Carly Fink-Maddox. I am your host and moderator of this. I am the chair of Healthy Mind Collective and co-founder. I'm also the director of global transactions for EXP. So that's a little about me. We're going to just jump in and get started with some questions. Pursuing a job that is based entirely on commission comes with unique stressors. How do you handle these stressors? Who wants to go first?
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things that I do is I meditate 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And given how stressful this job is, I built myself a 6-foot bathtub and enjoy taking really good care of myself, whether it's yoga, exercise, eating healthy. I think when we take care of number one, it's so much easier to help everyone else.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, and that's in line with what I do. I have really extensive family local to me, so I'm able to spend a lot of time with them, which is really helpful. Both of my kids are incredible, and so just getting to watch them grow is helpful. And it reminds me too on a regular basis that I'm not just in it for myself, but I'm out here to provide my community with high quality service. And I got to show my kids that they can do whatever they want to do, and they're in charge of their own time, and they're in charge of their own body and their own mind.
That is awesome. That's so important, Kimberly, because that balance between work and family, you gotta have it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because that is your why and what you're doing for your business.
Right.
Not just to make money and drive a nice car and these accounts and all this big stuff, but it's about your why and your purpose. And I can say with me, one of the things I do to balance my mental health out is I would, just like Corey, I'm big about meditation, heavy about it, making sure you're doing it as an intentional part of my ritual a day, or let's say routine per day, along with making sure on the weekends that I, let's say, dissociate myself from what I do. Purely put myself out there in the woods and go out and do some, I'll say, forest bathing or woods bathing in the
Oh
same.
wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
I love that. That's awesome. I will say every single time I talk to my therapist, the first thing she asks me is, "Have you been exercising and getting fresh air?" She's like, the number two, those are the two top things that help with your mental health, and it definitely makes a huge difference. All right, so on to our next one. So whether or not you've experienced mental illness, it's always a good idea to proactively take care of your mental health. How do you prioritize your mental health? So I feel like some of that was just answered, but anybody have anything extra that they do?
I mean, I watched my mom be a single mom for most of my childhood, and I know that that came with a lot of extra stress. She was working 2 jobs, going to school, raising 2 kids. My brother and I are Irish twins, so we're less than a year apart. Um, so now, being a mom, it's very important to me to show my kids that, like Coralie said, you have to take care of yourself. You have to really truly pour into your own cup before you'll ever have anything to pour into anyone else. So it's super, super important to me that there's at least some amount of time each day or even weekly, if I can't do it daily, to do something that I enjoy, something I'm passionate about, that's not stressful, and just reminding myself that my kids are watching, my family's watching, and if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of them, and they deserve me at my best.
Absolutely. So occupational burnout, or the unshakable feelings of cynicism, stress, the loss of motivation is something that a lot of realtors face on a daily basis. How do you all overcome this with still being able to build a successful business?
I would say applying the 4 R's: rest, reflect, reset, and relax. You've got to have those 4 R's. Hugely important because we apply all these different types of things for our business, whether to scale up, scale down, expand, or contract. But what do we do for ourselves? That's the big thing. And you have to prioritize your self-care as being the number one, because Kimberly spoke well. Say, if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to be the best mom for my children? I'm gonna be the best person for my team out there that depends on me. So those are the things that to do if you're having a burnout situation.
What about when agents are newer in the business, or realtors say are newer in the business, and they are really relying on that next close, that next sale, and that really will start to mess with your head, your psyche, and all of that, and that can roll over into your clients, and you can start to get a little pushy with them sometimes.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys what kind of advice do you have for agents?
I actually just sent this over to Kimbry a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
It's super important for us to have 5-star clients. That's really true for our own mental health. A 5-star client is friendly and cooperative. They're willing to engage with you. They know what they want and it's reasonable for the market. Their timeline works for you and the market. And most of all, they want you to represent them. When we're dealing with clients who don't know what they want, don't know when they want it, don't understand that their demands are not reasonable for the market, those very difficult clients take a huge toll on our psyche, on our emotions, especially, and I'm going to stick with number 1 here. They need to be friendly and cooperative.
Oh yeah.
If someone's being mean to you, if they're not cooperating with you, it makes it very difficult for us to give them the 5-star service that they want. So ultimately, there are times when we have difficult clients and we kind of take a deep breath, wish them the very best. If we can close it, we will. And then after that closing, we're like, I need girl time. I need time with my friends, to kind of decompress after that difficult client. But in general, if you can tell up front, I would say refer it out.
Right. Well, and Coralie, I mean, she did. She sent me the really awesome checklist of 5-star clients not that long ago. I mean, maybe a few weeks ago. I had a client who was really great at the start. She was super kind. She was super patient. She kind of knew what she was looking for. We looked at a bunch of different opportunities she needed to sell and buy. And then we got to the point where she was under contract on both, and she felt overwhelmed and panicked and started saying some really horrible things to me and accusing me of some really horrible, like gaslighting her or pushing her to make a sale. And I personally take pride in never being the pushy salesman realtor. I love my role as a realtor because I get to help people reach their goals. And it's never on my time. It's not my responsibility to make that decision. So when she started saying these things, it cut me to my core. And Coralie saw I got pretty emotional about it. And thankfully, I have a really incredible state group here. Our broker is super hands-on. Everyone in New Mexico, I mean, everyone within EXP in general has been so helpful and thoughtful. But just having those people to vent to, get it off my chest, and then have action takers like Coralie to say, this is what you need to look for in the future, and you've got this, and you're doing great. And it just, like Coralie said, be mad for a minute and then let it go.
With the changes in the industry, recently with some of the legal changes and the rising interest rates and all of those things, I know that the pool of clients has become a little less. The listings have become a little less. How do you guys maintain, having the clear mind, the still the smoothness, right, with your clients, when all of this is going on? Because I am an agent, but I'm not an active agent, and it stresses me out. So I can only imagine for the active agents out there, and also the client. how all of the changes right now are scary. What are you guys doing to, I guess, also educate yourselves and your clients to help your mental health and to help you have mental clarity around it all?
Hmm.
I think one of the biggest things that's come in handy for me since I got licensed 4 years ago was just being completely transparent right off the bat with clients, letting sellers know. I've never had an issue telling sellers about the commission, what the value that I offer is, and explaining that to them. I've never pushed a seller into choosing a commission rate that fit my needs, but I've also never had a seller try and cut me short without having that conversation and explaining what the value is that comes with the commission. So I think just being completely transparent has been really beneficial to me. All of my clients that I've had a couple here or there that were just kind of a quick deal, but I've had a lot of clients that I've gotten close with, and they've all said, it was really beneficial because it felt like working with a friend rather than just some realtor. So I've actually built my whole brand off of that feedback. So my brand is being your ABQ Realtor Bestie. I want you to enjoy the process and have fun because it's a stressful enough process. I don't want to make it any harder. But it's always, for me, since the very beginning, being transparent and being an open book to my clients, to my colleagues, to my broker.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, Kimberly. Being transparent and being upfront to them, let them know, hey, this is who I am. This is what I expect. I know with a lot of my clients, which are a lot of small business owners, I've set the expectation up front. This is
Yeah.
what I do. This is what I'm about. This is what I expect from my clients. If it works for you, great. If not, I understand. There's room to you go your own way and work with somebody else, and that's okay because not
Right.
everybody's going to jail with us.
Exactly.
So, absolutely, gotta be transparent up front and set expectations, and that's setting boundaries for yourself too at the same time mentally.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, like Coralie said, knowing what you need in a client is just as important as being able to serve your client's needs. I can't be the best realtor I am to just anybody. Because, like you said too, Reggie, I won't mesh with everybody. Not everybody wants to work with their bestie. Some people want to work with the suit and tie, the formal version of a realtor, and that's not my energy. That's not what I put out. But I get clients who love what I do and who I am, and that matters more to me than some sales.
Being down to earth.
Yes, exactly. I like to have fun with it. It's a fun process. So
How do you guys build a successful business without sacrificing your personal lives? I know that, I've been with a lot of realtors and I'm sitting here trying to have dinner with them, trying to catch up, and their phone's going off constantly and they keep picking it up and, reading the messages and, or like, hold on, I just have to respond to my client. So how do you guys maintain that balance?
I'm really lucky to be in commercial because I don't have to really work much on the weekends or
Yep.
the evenings. We tend to have like 8 to 6 Monday through Friday. Really, my heart goes out to all the residential realtors that are on tour and doing open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. But I truly hope that no matter what, you take 2 days, or a day and a half, right? It may be a half day, maybe a Monday and a Tuesday morning to regroup, refresh, turn off your phone after, 6 p.m. on a Sunday or what have you. I really do believe that downtime is so critical. Just the time to take care of your own home, enjoy the company of your own family, your own friends, and your own activities. But I do find that realtors are really good at mixing business and pleasure. And so when you go on a realtor tour, everybody's having a great time. There's food, there's drinks, there's merriment, and even hanging out at our Realtors Association or EXPCon or what have you. We manage to mix business and pleasure really well.
yeah, I set my phone into do not disturb at 7 o'clock. I tell my clients in my in my buyer presentation and in my listing presentation, if we don't have a contract signed, then my business hours are less than if we do. If we do and it's an emergency, if it's a fire, you can't put that out. You're going to need to call 911. I can't do anything. If it's something that I couldn't do during a regular business's hours, like title's not open, lender's not open, we can't do a lot late at night, or even sometimes on the weekends, there's not a lot we can do. So I try to set that expectation early on. And anytime I am with friends or family, if I have something that I know I'm going to need to handle during that time, I let my friends and family know. Then I do my best to step away to handle it, so I'm not interrupting everybody's good time. But it's been very important, something in the past, I would say, year, that I've implemented. It's just setting that boundary. Like Reggie said, boundaries are so vital. And my clients know right off the bat, my friends and family know right off the bat. And that way I'm not, interjecting on somebody else's time, but I'm also respecting my own.
Man, true. And Carly, I got to piggyback off you. You said, hey, make sure your phone line is off. Your phone is completely off when you're with your family. Being present in the moment. And I have to tell myself this because years ago, before I did real estate, I was a car salesman. So car salesman, realtor, now commercial advisor. I've seen all the different changes when it comes down to dealing with clients. And one of the things I learned early on is have a separate phone line. That's me personally. I'm not saying for everybody, but it worked for me because I knew that separate phone line, I had a dedicated times it cuts on and it cuts off, and it goes automatically to voice message, so they don't infringe on my personal time. So,
absolutely. One of the best things that I think a mentor ever told me was there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's only being present. So it's about being present in the time that you are with either that person or with your clients or at work. Whatever you're doing in that time, be present in that moment. And that's really how we can make the most out of any situation, right? And I feel like that's something that, especially in my corporate life with EXP, I have to really focus on because I am global. I work all hours of the day. And so when I have a break and like my daughter's at school, I try to really focus on my time with her, put my phone down, put everything down. That's something I definitely try to prioritize. In what ways is giving back to others also rewarding yourself?
That's why we're here, right? Life would be just terrible if we didn't have people to connect with, that we could share with them and they could share with us, and that we could be part of the journey of someone else's journey, whether their goal is to buy an investment property and so that they have income for the rest of their life and be able to leave it to their children and grandchildren, or the same thing with their home if that's their investment, or if they're retiring and they want to downsize either their home or their business. We're helping people really make their goals to meet their life goals. And in the same token, we get to be part of their journey. So I personally love it. Right. One of my clients right now was interviewed by Forbes. They won a treasure hunt in Dallas, Texas. And that treasure hunt was to the tune of $1.2 million, hotel and grants. And so they have a good bit of news coverage for their purchase. And I have a feeling if anybody's cruising Old Route 66, they're going to want to stop in and visit with them because they're really amazing people. But the best part is that I get to be part of the journey.
Yeah. So I'm blessed to be a mentor with EXP and being able to help newly licensed or new to EXP agents learn the ropes, learn the benefits. And it's been really rewarding to get to see them, build their own business. I've had a couple who are brand new licensed, and they're, like you said, Carly, they're kind of panicking at the changes in the market, the changes in the industry, what's going to happen. I don't understand it. And so it's really rewarding to me to be able to say, like, it's okay. You can have everything you want to have. You just have to be willing to do what that takes. And for everybody, that's different. but getting to be hands-on in my community, helping clients reach their goals, their first home. My very first client was a single mom leaving an abusive household. And I didn't know until we got to closing, and she burst into tears, and she just put her hand on top of mine and was like, "You just changed the trajectory of my life, of my kid's life." And I was like, "Oh, buying a home is very exciting." And she was like, "He doesn't know where we live and we're safe." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had no, like, that was never, you never said anything." And she was like, I didn't want you to help me out of pity or anything, and I really wanted to be discreet, but she's like, "Signing these papers, you did this, you helped me get here." And that for me was like, all right, real estate is a really rewarding opportunity, and there's some really cool stories out there.
Wow. That is moving, Kimberly, that you did that, and that's something she'll never forget.
Oh
And
no, yeah. And it was my first deal, so I was like,
Oh, that's
my
super
gosh.
special. Yeah.
that is amazing. I can tell you, with me, I help a lot of the small business owners as being the commercial, just like Harley. One of the deals I did about 2 months ago was an active duty Navy sailor, him and his wife, 26 years old, young man. And he literally said, "Hey, I want to do something different than what I'm doing now. And I still want to be able to serve my community, but also show people that it can be done." So literally, we started out by looking at spaces to lease. And I told him, I said, "Hey, brother, let's see if you can buy a location." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So literally, he got approved the SBA, and took some months of persistence, getting qualified and doing the work. And literally, he closed on his first commercial building, 26 years old, him and his wife. And he was in tears because of the fact that he thought at first it couldn't be done. But you just never know that little inspiration, encouragement you give to someone, especially those small business owners out there. Because again, they started out with Kimberly being a new homeowner, then they transition becoming a business owner, entrepreneur. It all is like a cycle. We all here to help one another. So
Absolutely.
So this is one of my favorite questions, especially, political differences, religious differences, all of those kind of things. And, you'll get clients that are very different from you, and some are very vocal. Also, other realtors are very vocal. So, how do you keep yourself emotionally safe but engaging when being with others and connecting with people in conversation?
That's a tough one because emotional safety is something we kind of take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So unless someone is actually attacking us or very angry, we tend to feel pretty safe, 99% of the time.
Right.
So if this question is kind of geared toward those dramatic moments in our career when someone's angry, I usually, if it's a telephone call, I feel really comfortable saying, "I'm going to hang up now." And I do, I hang up. It's much more difficult to be angry in person because then I can see them escalating, and I can walk them through the emotions in person because we have the eye contact that allows us to kind of calm things down and explain each step of the way so that everybody feels safe.
I love that. One of the things I was taught really early on was not to really market my beliefs as part of my brand. Not that it was ever like, don't believe in what you believe in, but like, you're going to have people, like you said, who don't align with that and they still want to work with you. I think one of the ways that I've navigated some, like you said, some vocal people with different beliefs or opinions than myself is, my sister-in-law and I, we're close. We get along really well, but there are lots of things we don't agree on. And we both have to be able to say in some arguments, like, okay, we believe different things. That doesn't make either of us wrong or bad. Take a step back. Let's think about what we're talking about. What was the goal of the conversation? And so I've implemented that in my business as well, of even for myself, like, thinking to myself, take a step back. What is the goal we're trying to reach here? What's the hurdle that we're coming to? What's the issue that's arose? How can I calmly, like Coralie said, navigate this conversation, or how can I walk away so it doesn't get worse? And I love that Coralie just hangs up, because I'm so lucky to have Coralie right here in New Mexico. She's incredible. Right from when we first met, she's been so thoughtful and helpful. But it's just little things like the confidence to hang up when someone's mistreating you, or the confidence to just zip it when, somebody has something really awful to say. It takes a lot, and it's hard, I think, for newer realtors especially, because they don't expect that. Or if they're doing cold calling, they don't want people to hang up on them or be angry. But you really have to remind yourself, nobody's really angry at you. They're angry at what's happening. And that's outside of your control sometimes. So you have to be your own rock, your own, like, I am safe and secure. I'm okay. We're going to get through it one way or the other.
One book that's a really great tool is called The 4 Agreements.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personal.
Right.
The reality is, if it's in our control, we'll do everything we can to fix it. We're here to support. We're here to serve. If there's something that's out of our control, then we can say, okay, I'm not going to take this personal. this is not about me.
Right.
And it's okay to teach that to our clients too. Sometimes our clients are going to say, oh, this lender or this whatever, whoever it is, whatever the situation is, if they're taking it personally, we can say, wait a second, it's not personal. This is just a challenge we need to work through. Let's stay solution focused. Right. And if we stay solution focused, meaning, okay, where are we now? And what are the next steps to achieve our goal? And there may be several ways that we can get there. We can have plan A, plan B, and plan C. And then we can all feel a lot safer.
Reggie, I know that you being in, the military, working with the military network, you, I'm sure, probably get a lot of like stories and, a lot of emotionally deep information. How do you listen to that, take that all in, and not still somehow let it emotionally affect you in some way?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I get a lot of heavy calls from. I've had calls of people losing husbands days prior to suicide. I've been on suicide calls right when police got there, helping vets check into the VA hospital, all types of different things. But one of the things I try to do is I do visualization. And one of the things is a technique that I learned called I Feel Divinely Blissful. It's an author by the name of Frank Rudolph. And there's actual spiritual techniques that you can do mentally, actually kind of a spiritual shield within yourself, right, from the Most High. And I don't want to, offend nobody, nothing like that. But spiritually, I have to stay grounded, because when you're dealing with people, it's one of the things that you're dealing with, because the fact that they're going to come to you with so many issues, so many different problems. And if you're not careful, you end up draining your aura. You end up tapping out your spiritual, let's say, internal self. So what you need to do is for me, prayer life, praying, hey, whoever you decide to pray to, but me, praying a lot, keep myself grounded spiritually, and then also visualization. So if I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll stop what I'm doing. I will listen. I will pause, and I'll say in my head, I feel divinely blissful. I feel divinely blissful. And also I'll visualize that person on the other side of the phone, me almost saying, hey, everything's going to be all right. And you feel divinely blissful. And it's a thing called the multiplied nerve gap, where when you're tapping into your eternal self, you're able to put it into their mind, and things start slowing down. And you have to slow down your speech patterns too, because if they're anxious and they have a lot of anxiety, you can hear the voice inflections. And the main thing you got to do is listen and respond accordingly, and then just slow your speech down. Because when somebody's upset and mad, and they are upset literally to the highest degree, the best thing you can do is just slow down your speech pattern and say, I'm listening to you, I understand you, have empathy. And then eventually start slowing down because they know that you're not irate, you're not upset, and you end up calming down a situation. It's called situational awareness. And those things I do on a practical level to calm down a situation, especially with clients.
You all are more seasoned in your careers, so I'm sure you at this point you have learned what you should say no to, right, in real estate. So, what are those things for you at this point that you say no to protect your, mental health, your stress level, your well-being overall?
It's funny because the more seasoned I've become, the easier it is to say yes. And I think the hard part for all of us is that we want to do the work that's in front of us. And it's really hard to say no, because if this person trusts us and they're coming to us with whatever it is that they need, whatever their dream for their business is, or that they need to sell. And I always ask people, why do you want to sell? I'm not big on selling real estate. I'm big on buying real estate. And so, and that was a big one, I think, for Kimberly too, is that you have to find out their why, as Reggie said, because if their why isn't really a true goal, a true purpose, they're going to back out.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's going to be a very tense, stressful situation the whole time.
Yes. And so we don't really want to say no. We are yes people. And we're probably the biggest cheerleaders on the planet because we're working hard to help people's dreams come true. Mm-hmm. And so we don't want to say no, but we usually want to find what the real reason is and what the solutions that are going to fit the situation are. And if it might not be us, and we want to refer it to someone who can truly help.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I should more say boundaries instead of no, right? Like, what boundaries have you really learned to set for yourself?
Oh yeah.
In your career or in relationships in general.
So about 82% of my business last year came organically from social media, which is incredible, and I'm super blessed by that. But it also comes with a lot of people who do or say some really interesting things to you. I mean, and everybody in real estate has probably heard the whole let's talk about it over dinner spiel, and I'm never going to dinner with a single male client. It's just not going to happen. I mean, unless he's fine with my whole family coming along. I'm like, I'm not sitting down with you. Like no to midnight phone calls. No to the panicky midnight phone calls. I love my clients dearly. I think of them as my besties, and that's what sets me apart from other realtors here in Albuquerque. But it's also what gets misconstrued with them of calling me to tell me something like, I just realized that the rug is this color and that's not going to work with it. And it's just, that's not an emergency to me. And I'm not answering that call, and that's okay with me. My first year in real estate, I was not a boundaries girl. I was a yes girl, but not in the cool way that Coralie's saying, in the like, yes to everything. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get all the business, do all the things. And you really can't. You can't make everybody happy. You can't do the right thing all the time. You're going to make mistakes. But like you said, setting those boundaries is really important. And for me, it's physical safety is a huge boundary. My husband's former law enforcement, so he knows where I am all the time. I send him my showing schedule every time I have one. Yep. We share locations constantly, just so that if I do go, I had a listing appointment that from a referral not too long ago, and he sat in the car outside until I came out because it was a single man. And he was like, I'm going to make sure you go in there. I'm going to make sure you come back out. So really, for me, it's physical safety is the biggest boundary because I have kids to go home to. I have a career to complete. So that's something I'm not flexible with. But, I know there's lots of other cool boundaries to set in real estate. Those are some of mine.
Reggie, what about you?
I actually had to learn who I am as a person in order to set boundaries. One of the books I recommend reading, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol Truman. And it basically talks about how emotions are stored in the body, or let's say starts out in your brain, and then it gets down into the different organs in your body. And if you don't know how to release and how to deal with it, then most likely you're going to not how to know how to set boundaries. And I can tell you with me, I used to be that yes guy. Yes, 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 yes. And then in the week, I'm so drained. I'm so tired. I don't want to be around nobody because I done gave all my life force to help everybody and
Right.
have nothing to pour in another cup for somebody else or for myself, most importantly. So
Right.
I would say that's what I do first is recommend is learning who you are first. And then when you learn who you are first, you know how to set your boundaries in the right manner.
They're all great points. Well, I'm going to wrap up on the questions, but do any of you have any last pointers or tips for um, the realtors out there for, how to educate themselves or um, talk to clients, I guess, about all of the changes that are happening. I know that those have been huge, huge stressors in everyone's life, and we talked about them a little bit, but not necessarily. What have you guys done to make sure that you feel confident in talking to your clients about what's happening or other agents underneath you that you mentor or sponsor?
For me, the biggest thing. Oh, sorry, Coralie.
No, go ahead.
For me, the biggest thing is surround yourself with a community. Like for me, it's young professionals. For Reggie, it's the MilNet. Coralie has a really great group of people here locally that she is mentoring, is helping through, but is also working really closely with through a lot of commercial deals. I know she can handle anything. She's incredible. But
Thank you.
have a community. Here in New Mexico, our state broker takes time once a week to sit with us. He calls it Mocha with Mark, and we sit down, and whoever wants to come, and we just sit and we chat. We ask questions. We talk about our issues. I think being a realtor at any point in your career, if you don't have those people that you can be like, okay, this is really scaring me, or this is hurting me, or this is upsetting me, you have to have people you can go to ask for help or to say, I don't know what I need, but I know I need something. This isn't working, or I'm overwhelmed, or whatever. You have to have people that want to check in on you and care about you. And in real estate, especially with being, EXP being a virtual brokerage, it's so important to find those people and lean into them. And there's absolutely no shame in saying, I don't understand what's going on right now in the industry. I'm trying to understand it so my clients can understand it. And having people that can be like, oh, no problem, let me walk you through that. There's no shame in it, but a lot of people feel embarrassed, I guess, of not knowing how to handle a certain situation or what to say in that scenario. It's so important to have that community.
So one of the things that this question had several layers to it, and I think that you may have started out kind of referring to the new environment, meaning the changes in the NAR laws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so in commercial, I think Reggie can attest to this. Commission was never a big deal in commercial. And often there were exclusive listings and you're not going to get paid. So we've always asked if there was a co-op fee. And in general, we double end our listings because we're the one who's advertising it. We're the one who has the sign on the property. And there are very few commercial brokers out there that are bringing the buyer or the tenant, So in general, when we're handling real estate for small businesses, unless we're handling the buyer, there's really the guarantee of commission is on our listing agreement. And for the most part, we work nationally. So if I'm taking my buyer from New Mexico over to Nevada to buy a shopping center, and I'll just ask, is there a co-op fee? And they'll say, yes, it's 2%. And it's never been a big deal. There was never any rule that said there was going to be a co-op fee. And so removing that from the MLS, I think, is really huge. It's probably a good thing in many ways, at least for commercial, it is. But also it forces us to prove our value and prove our worth. And I don't think it's going to be good for first-time buyers. I think we have a lot of challenges because we believe with all of our hearts in equal opportunity. And so we want everybody to be represented and to be able to have the American dream of owning their own home. And we want to help all people to do this. So
Is it glitching for anyone else or just me?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Glitched out.
I agree with the commission change in residential. It seems like a bigger deal, I think, than it will be, or it has been. Like I said, for me, I've always negotiated commission with buyers and sellers. It's always been very transparent. They know what the value is, and if it's not covered by the seller, then they may be responsible for covering it. I know that there are lots of realtors doing the like, I'll do it for 1%, I'll do it for cheaper, I'll do it for that, and that's fine for those people, but it's not going to work for me. And unfortunately, that will mean saying no to some clients who can't afford to pay, or don't want to pay out of pocket. And I think it's going to be a big impact on VA buyers, but I'm sure that they will find a way to navigate that, and we'll make it work. But it's a big change, but I think we're just going to all navigate it in the way that works best for us and our business. And like Reggie said earlier, everything is going to be okay. I am blissful. I am blissful.
Right. Knowing your worth.
Can I add
right?
one?
Knowing your worth. And I think, Corley, you said it's proving yourselves, right? Showing that we are going to, provide you with great service. Go ahead. Sorry, Corley.
Can I add one last thing on in terms of mental health, since this is Mental Health Month? As humans, we want to avoid pain. That's really important to us. And there are children who are born with congenital insensitivity to pain, which means they don't feel pain. And the problem with having CIP is that those kids really hurt themselves because they'll play on a twisted ankle and break it because they don't feel pain. So just know that if there is pain in your life or in your client's life, that is a gift. It is an absolute divine gift that allows us to know that that area of our lives needs healing, whether it's physical pain in your body that you need to get checked out, whether the stress in your life is causing anxiety, maybe it's neck pain, maybe your joints hurt. Sadness, all of the symptoms of grief cause pain in our bodies, the exhaustion, the tiredness. And so recognize the pain as a gift and use that symptom to allow yourself to get help in terms of self-care, in terms of getting additional resources for therapy, writing, journaling, kind of working through all of the different things that are really bothering you, all the things that cause anxiety or anger. Anger is a fight or flight response. If you're angry, that means there's some danger that you're perceiving in your life. So we definitely want to see these as a symptom that allows you to get to the other side. We don't have to hate the symptom. We can work with it and work through it and create a productive, healthy, happy future for us and everyone around us.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, that kind of goes back a little bit to the burnout. When you start to feel burnout, you can start to feel pain in your body. You can start to feel, just irritable all the time, angry all the time. And it's important to, notice that, be aware of it, and then fix it, right? Otherwise, it's just going to continue on in our life, and we're going to end up hating our jobs, right? Hating being realtors. We're going to, and it's supposed to be fun-ish, right? Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
Except for, it's a Wednesday and it's raining and it's cold and your client wants to go see a house and you're like, I don't want to leave the house.
Get your galoshes on, grab your umbrella. This might be the house.
Right? Exactly.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you all so much for coming and being a part of this. You all have given some wonderful insights into, your worlds, your real estate worlds, and how you really protect yourself, your clients, and your overall mental well-being. So I appreciate you all being here. Do you have any last words you'd like to say?
Thank you for having us. It's always really cool to connect with people on these podcasts or just watching them and seeing that within our company, within our industry, within all of that there are people going through what I'm going through, feeling the same thing, and working together and making a solution and staying, like Corley said earlier, staying solution focused.
Yeah.
I think that's really impactful. So thank you.
And I think one of the biggest things that you said was, in this industry especially, being able to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all need help at times, and just having the courage and strength to ask for it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And that wraps up our panel for the day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, of course.
Thank you, Carly.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.